From round one, Rob Brant did not get the memo. Rob Brant did not get the memo. He came to be the spoiler. And he ain't care nothing about Ryota, Murata, or Triple G's plans. B Marsh Boxing, what's happening, world? Back at it with another post-fight review. And this is my post-fight review for the fight we had between Ryota Murata, the WBA regular champ, well, former WBA regular champ, not regular champ, excuse me, WBA world champ at middleweight. He had the WBA middleweight world belt. Well, he got that work from Rod Brant, and Rod Brant, this fight wasn't even close in my opinion. Rob Brant derailed the man Triple G Golovkin's plans and Ryota Murata. If I'm not mistaken, this was Ryota Murata's first fight in the United States. You know what I'm saying? The man, Rob Brant, just was on his movement. You know what I'm saying? He was on his side-to-side movement, stick and move, outboxed, and just was the volume puncher. Just outworked the man, Ryota Murata. You know what I mean? Ryota Murata
Warning. Your device is running critically low on memory.
Ryota Murata ain't have no answer for the man Rob Brant. You know what I'm saying? You know, Ryota Murata wasn't, he ain't you know, his punch output and just basically what he brought to the table was very one dimensional, you know what I'm saying? You know, didn't really show any variations to his punches. He was just a come forward guy, and he was taking shots to the face like a porn star all night, straight up and down, you know what I mean? Rob Brant didn't stand in the pocket with the guy. You check it, he was on his movement, you know what I mean? He kept moving side to side. He throws combinations, 3, 4, 5 combinations, and he gets the fuck up out of Dodge, you know what I mean? Rob Brant, you know, he did get hit, but he was also tagging the man, you know what I'm saying? Murata mostly, you know what I mean? And whenever Murata would land his hard shots, because Murata was basically, you know, loading up and coming forward, Rob Brant, when he did get tagged, he showed that he could take a punch, you know what I mean? You know, Rob Brant was very impressive yesterday, you know what I'm saying? He was busting up the man's eye with the straight right hands, and actually it was like combination punches, you know what I mean? Brant, you know, he came out with the combinations. He was aggressive from round one, you know what I mean? He kept up the pace. I was waiting to see if he could keep up the pace, you know what I'm saying, for the whole 12 rounds at the rate he was going from round one, you know what I mean? He was acting like it from round one, like it was right round 12, and he needed like he needed a knockout, you know what I mean? You check it, you know, the Murata was trying to throw body shots, you know what I'm saying? He kept smiling when he got tagged. Um, the only few rounds that I did give him was like round three. I gave Murata only like 3, 4 rounds in this fight. You know what I mean? This fight was easy to score. You know what I mean? I gave it to the guy who's being more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And you know, who's circling and you know landing more punches. You know what I mean? You know, Murata was trying to go to the body, like I said, to slow down the man Rob Brant from his movement. You know what I'm saying, in the fourth round. But Murata, you know, those were the rounds I gave him. 3, 4, and 5. You know what I mean? That's when after Rob Brant came on. You know, he came out gun-ho, gunning for the guy, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, Murata, he still got a lot to prove, you know what I mean? Don't be surprised if the guy retires. 14-2, a gold medalist. This guy's not no spring chicken. He's at least 30-something years old. You know what I'm saying? He's at least 30-something years old, man. He might be like another Zhu Shiming. Remember, Zhu Shiming had a couple gold medals, right? Was it 2 or was it 1? You know, he was a big star over there in Japan, just like Ryota Murata. But, you know, again, it comes down to the guys he faced, you know what I mean? A lot of people were high on the guy. I was just waiting to see him fight, you know, good competition. The best name on his resume was Hassan and Dam, and a lot of people thought that their first fight with Hassan and Dam was a blatant robbery. I didn't think so, you know. I thought it could have gone either way personally, you know what I mean? But, you know, a lot of people, let them tell you their account of that fight. You would have thought that Ryota Murata got blind viciously, you know what I mean? And like Hassan and Dame put in no work. But that wasn't the case. Now the second fight, that's a whole different story. That's all Ryota Murata. Let me see what fella's saying in the chat. Mike D's in the chat says, "Yo, B Marsh, what's good, son? How you feeling, man?" Mike D says GGG will gonna be retiring soon. I believe so too. Doesn't have much left in the tank. The division's only getting better and younger. I don't see the man really doing anything special in the next few years, you know what I'm saying? If he sticks around for the next few years. VVS Lou Stones was good, son. He's in the chat. He says, top of the morning. What's goody with you, man? I hope you guys got to see this fight. I watched it last night, but I had to rewatch it because I was watching three fights at the same damn time. The Zone had two cards and then this ESPN joint, you know what I mean? Boxing fan, what go on, star? Me there, you know what I mean? Just here, letting y'all know about this Ryota Murata. But as far as him derailing Triple G's plans, Rob Brant, like I said, didn't get the memo. You know what I mean? Triple G is trying to get the easy way out of this in this boxing shit. All roads would lead to Cannoli. Now, Triple G, I'm sure, it's nothing official, but I can guarantee you. I mean, it's business, right? He was going to take the least path to resistance, and that would be trying to fight the man Ryota Murata, who's a regular world champion or the world champion with the WBA belt. Um, and if he had beat Ryota Murata, if Murata had gotten through Rob Brandt, that's a big, massive payday over there in Japan. Big time, you know what I mean? The man gets enough views, Ryota Murata, over there in the UK. I'm sorry, in Japan. Now, the man Triple G, it's business at the end of the day, right? The least path to resistance. Uh, you know, Triple G. I could see Triple G going the top rank ESPN route. You know what I mean? Not that he's gonna sign with Top Rank, but Top Rank now controls all boxing endeavors going on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? You want to get on the ESPN platform, you're gonna have to talk to Uncle Bob, to Bob Arum, the Bob father. You know what I mean? You check it now. Ryota Murata was a big payday in Japan. Triple G would have rather faced him, go on the ESPN Plus or ESPN platform, rather than go fight Jamal Charlo on the Showtime platform. And let's be honest, Jamal Charlo, better fighter for sure enough than Ryota Murata, but he doesn't bring the kind of massive payday. He don't got a whole country on his back like Ryota Murata. Now, Triple G, I'm sure, is woke up this morning, or if he didn't watch that fight yesterday, and he's crying. You know what I mean? Because now he could fight Rob Brandt, another easy path. You know what I'm saying? To try to get to Cannoli. But at the end of the day, people gonna say you ducking the man Charlo because the Charlo fight been ordered by the WBC way before we even knew Rob Brandt was in the picture. That's just what's gonna happen. Just like how the man Triple G vacated his IBF belt because he didn't want to fight Devchenko. What? Why? Because it's a more difficult fight than Vadas Martirosyan. In hindsight, the man Triple G should have even taken the fight versus Devchenko. Guarantee you it'll be a bigger and better test and actually get him more prepared to have fought Cannoli in the rematch. Nah, but he wanted to take the easy path to resistance, and that was high, low, high risk. No, excuse me, low risk, high reward. That was Vanes Martirosyan, a guy who hadn't been in the ring for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And a guy in the junior middleweight division, a guy coming off a loss, just all kind of red flags. And the guy Vanes Martirosyan tried to go toe to toe with the man Triple G, and he did tag him a couple times in the first round. But at the end of the day, he paid the consequences for that. You know what I'm saying? So, with Triple G, what? Okay, he fights Rob Brandt. Let's say he does beat him. What does that do for him? Sure, it could probably get him the Cannoli fight. But at the end of the day, fella's gonna be on Triple G's helmet because the man is ducking Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? Some people they say, what does the man Triple G need to fight Jamal Charlo for? He'll beat him. Well, it's not written in stone, and I'm not of that mindset right now. How could I be? Three of the last four fights, Triple G has looked like he's looked mediocre from the Danny Jacobs fight. I thought he lost that. Then the Triple G first fight, excuse me, Canoli first fight, and I had that a draw. You know what I'm saying? Neither guys impressed me in the first fight. Neither guy did what they needed to do to get the victory. Canoli gassed out in the second half of the fight. He looked spectacular in the first half. And Triple G was getting outboxed in the first half. That's how he was down so many rounds, and they had to play catch up. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? See what fellas saying in the chat. Boxing Fat says, I knew Rob Brant would beat Murata. He's training with Derek James, Charlo, and Spence. And not only that, you see, I didn't even know that, boxing fan. One thing for sure, two things for certain. I know why the man Rob Brant looks spectacular. It's because of the trainer he had in his corner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the former light heavyweight champion, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, a great trainer, a guy from Brooklyn, man who trained guys like Chad Dawson and he trained Chad Dawson, you know what I mean? And Badu Jack, and the instructions he got, and just the basically style that Rob Brant from Minnesota brought to the table. It was a thing of beauty. I liked how he was moving, you know what I mean? Not on his bicycle like running. He was on his stick and move, combinations, and get the fuck up out of Dodge. If I had, truth be told, I hadn't looked at the odds. I hadn't looked at the odds to see if I'd put some money down. But I'm sure anybody put money on Rob Brant this Sunday morning, they probably took their girl out for mimosas and motherfucking brunch, man, because, man, that was a nice little payday fellas got if you put your money on the man Rob Brant. All right. Boxer Fast says, he gets that work. No question. He got that work, man. Rob Brant, man, a lot of people slept on him because he looked like ass in that fight versus Yogan Bramer. You know what I mean? Yogan Bramer just gave him that work as an older guy. Mike D says, GGG fans getting on my nerves right now. GGG fans getting on my nerves from a long time. Mike D says, middleweight is getting hot thanks to Canelo coming to the division. Yeah, and also the other guys, Jamal Charlo in there, Andrade, Danny Jacobs. Well, Danny Jacobs been a long stay. He been there his whole career. Yeah, there's a lot of good fighters, man. The middleweight division is now heating up to be one of the best divisions, man. And sooner than later, I bet you we'll see, in a year and a half or less, we'll see guys like Jared Hurd and or Jaime Munguia up there. The man VVS Lou Stell's laughing at cannoli. Yeah, man, cannoli, man. Italian pastry. That's what the man cannoli is. Mike D says GGG looking suspect out here, resume wise. Yeah, he needs to get a guy like Jamal Charlo, man. He needs to shut all the naysayers up or people saying he's ducking him. Because at the end of the day, he is ducking. I was on a hangout yesterday and somebody was actually trying to tell me that the man Jamal Charlo is ducking the man Triple G. I asked him, how's that the case when the man Abel Sanchez, Triple G's trainer, said, what has Jamal Charlo done to deserve a fight with Triple G? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to fight Triple G. Excuse me, Jamal Charlo. I bet you if Jamal Charlo was the caliber of guys like Willie Monroe or Dominic Wade or uh, um, Marco Antonio Rubio, some of these guys who were mandatories, Triple G would jump on it in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Quick, fast, and in a hurry. But Jamal Charlo's a different breed of a fighter that Triple G is not accustomed to. He had trouble with Danny Jacobs. I think Jamal Charlo would just finish what Danny Jacobs started. You know what I mean? MB, what's happening, MB? He says Rob Brant back down to his correct weight now. Yeah, man, he looked spectacular, man. He did from the jump street. You know what I mean? Combinations, letting them hands go, sticking and moving. You know what I'm saying? Moving towards his left. You know what I mean? He was just giving the guy different looks, and the guy Ryota Murata was just taking shots to the face and just smiling and coming forward. His eye was busted up. He had a mouse in the second round. You know what I mean? Mike D says Hurd shutting down the middleweight division when he get there. Yeah, it'd be nice to see what he can do. First and foremost, he got to handle his business at 154. Still the best junior middleweight on the planet. You know what I mean? Unified champ. You check it, but he's definitely gonna make middleweight division with that body frame he has. You know what I mean? You check it. Yeah, man. So, like I said, man, congratulations to Rob Brant, Triple G. The boxing gods ain't fucking with you no more, dogs. You know what I'm saying? You can only do so much stuff that's under the table for so long. Sooner than later, you will get found out. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, you know, you're trying to take the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? You still, I still don't understand how these boxing publications in their pound for pound list still have Triple G up there like high. He's like number 3 or 4. And when somebody comes to hear me talk about Triple G, they'll think I'm a hater. I'm a Triple G fan, dogs. I've been a fan. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people claim they Triple G fans. They never even gone to see him fight live. I seen the guy fight live in Madison Square Garden. Paid my hard-earned money, $100 plus, $100 plus. You know what I mean? For some nice seats, man. I got to see fellas like Will Smith on that night. Donald Trump was in the building. This was before he was a president. You know what I'm saying? Bruce Willis was in the building up there in MSG. That's when Triple G fought Daniel Gill. You check it. So I'm a fan of Triple G. I'm a fan of boxing. Period. You know what I mean? If I can catch any good fights live, I'm on it. You check it, but we just got to put things in perspective, you know what I mean, and not sugarcoat nothing. Triple G was trying to fight. They've been talking about Ryota Murata, and like I said, I'm not mad at them because that's a nice payday over there in Japan. But it is the path to the least resistance, you know what I mean? And them plans got derailed last night by Rob Brant. You know what I mean? Ryota Murata. Don't be surprised, like I said, if the guy retires. Who the fuck he gonna be able to beat at the middleweight division? He's only gonna be taking beatings if he's trying to advance in his career, as far as trying to get back to world title contention. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to fight the killers at middleweight. You know what I mean? You check it. He definitely ain't even beating a man like Billy Joe Saunders. That's not happening. Billy Joe Saunders, on the nasal spray or not, he'll box circles around that kid. You know what I mean? He was very one dimensional, very limited, like Floyd Mayweather says, no special effects whatsoever. You check it in. Hey, he paid the price. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure what promotional company Rob Brant is. You know what I mean? The first times I'd seen him was on Showbox. Then I seen him in the World Boxing Super Series, and then I'm seeing him last night on ESPN Top Rank. So I don't know where he goes from here, you know what I mean? But now, if I were him, you know, it's crazy, you know what I'm saying, that I'm even going to be saying this. But if you're a middleweight, man, you better try and seek your options, explore your options, and try to get with the zone. Because at the end of the day, the roads to all middleweight titles will have to go through the zone. Bubu Andrade handled his business last night versus Walter Kautukakukangong. Yeah, my man. And Canoli has two straps over there with the WBA, WBC. You know what I'm saying? The IBF strap is going to have to go through, Danny Jacobs and Derevchenko. The winner of that, the winner of that going to have to go to the zone. And if Danny Jacobs does, then, he's already in cruise control because HBO's ending their fight schedule and just fights in general, 2019. Danny Jacobs being promoted by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, he's going to go right there to the zone, you know what I'm saying? So, and I even seen an article, if I ain't mistaken, that fight is possible. Danny Jacobs, if he does get through Derevchenko, that fight's possible for Cinco de Mayo. And if Canelo could step up to the plate and fight a man like Danny Jacobs, man, his resume only going to get better, and I'm going to give him props, you know what I mean? Yes, indeed. Mike D says Andrade turned his career around. Yeah, a lot of people still also the jury's out on the guy Andrade. Let's be honest, you know what I mean? Yes, he looked spectacular last night versus a guy 17 and 0, 16 KOs. Now 17 and 1, 16 KOs. But then again, the guy came to the United States from Namibia on short notice, three week short notice. You know what I'm saying? The guy's not a world class opponent. That's no question about it. We can't even debate or refute that. And you know, I'm not even going talk about how Whether he stopped him or not, at the end of the day, the result he wanted was the W and to be a two-time world champion, which he is. Congratulations. And like I said in my previous video, my post-fight, both titles that Demetrius Andrade has won came the vacant route. Vacant title versus Mata and vacant title versus Walter. Yeah, that guy from Namibia. The jury's still out. Is he a world class fighter? You know what I'm saying? Who is this guy he beat? Who's the best guy still on the man resume? It's still guys like Vanas Martirosyan, you know what I mean? And I like Andrade. I liked how he looked last night. That counter left hand was percolating. He could miss with that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, we still want to see him now with the likes of whether it's Canoli, which I think his style could beat him, but you never know. You never know. Canoli might walk through his punches. Maybe he might not be able to hurt the man. Canoli might walk through his punches, and Canoli's a power puncher by nature. You know what I mean? Fuck all that jabbing shit. Canoli's the type of guy who might land less than 20 jabs in a fight, but He's gonna be throwing them left and right hooks to the body. He's a body puncher, and he's gonna try to throw power punches to the head. Doc Dre was good, son. Doc Dre in the chat. He says Andrade. Doc Dre said Demetrius would have destroyed Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not sure. I really can't call that one. One thing for sure, two things for certain. Billy Joe ain't the Walter kid that Andrade fought. And these two, the man Billy Joe Saunders is a very good boxer. You know what I mean? He uses his lateral movement well, like Rob Brant did last night, and it'd be a great fight. A lot of people was on that fight, man. I can guarantee you, DAZN lost a lot of money from subscribers last night due to the fact that Andrade didn't fight Billy Joe Saunders. You know what I mean? That's a fight a lot of people were anticipating. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Dr. Dre says, I'm glad he got 12 rounds. Yeah, it's good for him to go 12 rounds, you know what I mean? At the middleweight division, a weight that he's only fought two middleweights. But it'd be definitely more spectacular if he knocked the opponent out at the end of the day. That's what people watch boxing for, the knockouts. Mike D says, not he made a power move going with Hearn, but he made a power move going with Hearn. Who did? Demetrius? Well, Eddie Hearn gave that man a hug after he won, so looks like that's his promoter, man. And if it is, that's a good look for him because the guys he was fucking with before, the Guardias, they weren't doing nothing for his career. Doc Dre says, I seen Khan outclass Canoli. Yeah, well, Khan is a guy who's, if boxing was the amateurs, only 3 rounds, the guy Amir Khan probably would be undefeated. If boxing was only 3 rounds, he'd probably be undefeated because he starts off well, spectacular. He's just a guy who lets his hands go. And he forgets that the other opponent can just time him and just catch him with one punch. It's like it's like the man just totally forgets about the other opponent also has the possibility of tagging him. And that's what happened in his last fight versus Samuel Vargas. Yeah, he put hands on the guy in the first 2 rounds, even dropped him, and continued to come forward and just, not being defensively responsible. And he got decked, you know what I mean? Doc Dre says, imagine Andrade if talking about Khan outclassing Canoli. Well, to be honest, Doc Dre, I've always picked Doc Dre, excuse me, Bubu Andrade to beat Canoli. And I'm talking about going back from 2013. This is 2018 now, and Canoli is the kind of guy who's going up to weight classes like 168. You know what I mean? Wait, yo, Doc Dre, if that fight goes the distance, man, your man's not winning that fight, man. You gotta bring a gun and or knock out the man Canoli to get a dub. You know what I'm saying? If the man Floyd dares to fight the man Canoli right now, and the fight looks anything like it did the first fight, or even closer, Floyd Mayweather will have his first L on his resume. Believe that. To beat Canoli, man, you gotta shoot the man in the leg, or you gotta knock him out. You know what I mean? Anthony Purvis, what's up, son? What's happening with you, dog? She said, what up, B. Marsh? I was pulling for Brant, man, and I'm proud of the brother. Did you notice how empty the stands were? Similar to Jacob versus Salaki, joint which I was at live. Where was this fight at, Anthony? Was it in Las Vegas? Really and truly, I didn't even notice the crowd. I didn't. I didn't even notice the crowd. Is Selecki fighting Jamal Charlo? I heard there's news about that rather than Jamal Charlo fighting Willie Monroe Jr. He's going to fight Danny Jacobs leftover. I'm not mad at that. Hey, let's see if he can do a better job than Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? Doc Dre says, they say Canoli is improving. Trust me, Floyd will still outclass him. Man, I don't know, man. Nah, man. I don't know about that. He's too big, man. I don't even want Floyd to risk that. Fuck that, man. You beat the guy once, man. You don't got to prove nothing again. You know what I'm saying? Floyd definitely got the quicker feet, but then again, Floyd's getting older, man. How long will he have superb footwork? You know what I mean? Floyd's a beautiful counterpuncher, and he could possibly catch the man, but Floyd Mayweather, if you stand just if you want to just compete in a Philly shell, you never know, man. That Philly shell could be busted. You know what I'm saying? I've seen fellas bust Floyd Mayweather's Philly shell, like Shane Mosley did in round two, and even go back and look at DeMarcus Chop Chop Hawley, man from DC fight versus Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? The man busted his shoulder roll. You check it. And at this stage of career, if that happens, does Floyd have the leg movement, the lateral movement to get the fuck up out of Dodge? With a big guy who can make 168 right now. And I'm sure Canoli can make that easily. Okay? Dr. Dre says Canoli isn't fighting top black fighters right now. He never has. When's the last time he did? Was it Trout or Lara? 2014. Thank you. Anthony Purvis. I'm talking about the Andrade fight. Oh, in Boston. Yeah. Okay. Again, I didn't really notice the crowd, to be honest. You know what I mean? Um, from what I seen, at least the front rows, I didn't see anything in the back. I might have to look again to see what kind of attendance they had in that piece. Mike, where am I at? Dr. Dre says Charlo, Jacobs, and Andrade beat Canoli. Well, I think one of those guys will lose to Canoli. Who will it be? If it's a close fight, all them three guys lose to him, man. Canoli's no joke, dogs. Canoli's no joke, and I'm not talking about he's a superb boxer and all. I'm just talking about at this stage of his career right now, he's damn near untouchable, man. He's the cash cow of boxing. They're not gonna let a brother come in there and get a close split decision against him. They're not going to treat him like Frankie Randall versus Cesar Chavez, which was a close fight too. You know what I'm saying? First man to beat Cesar Chavez. And, if you watch that fight, you can make a case for Cesar Chavez not losing that fight. They're not going to do him like that. At this stage of his career, Canoli brings a lot of money, man. Brings too much money to the table. So if those guys, Charlo, Jacobs, and Andrade, got to beat Canoli, they're going to have to knock him out. Mike D says Canelo and Hurd fight for everyone. Canelo and Hurd fight for anyone you fight in the elite boxers and the boxing politics. Oh, um, I ain't quite understand that one. Mike D says Cotto. Doc Dre, Canelo is good against the right opponents. He lost to Lara. I agree. He's great against flat-footed guys like Angulo, James Kirkland, Triple G, Liam Smith, them type of guys. Doc Dre says Hurd would beat up Canelo. Mike D says Trout Lara. Yeah, that was a long time ago, 2014 and 2013. Mike D says I got Hurd against everyone from 154 to 168. Ooh. Oh, that's bold right there. That's bold. First and foremost, I just want to see my man Hurd conquer his division. He is the number one guy. I want to see him beat Charlo. I want to see him be the lineal. If he when he becomes a lineal champion, because the fight between him and Charlo will be for the lineal and also unification. Then he can move up. You know what I mean? You check in on May if he can't get a fight with the man Mungia after that, before or after that, then he can move up to 160. Mm. Doc Dre says Hurt is a problem for sure, no question about it. People still hating on him. People still be faking on him, and those are the Jamal Charlo fans. And I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about like channels, YouTube channels, will swear up and down that the Charlo twins are beasts and also Errol Spence. You know, they swear these guys are monsters, and everybody else who's on the opposing side, as far as guys that the Charlos and Spence could fight. They swear these guys are food and they ducking them. You should hear about how these Charlo and Spence support and channels talk about Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? You should hear how they talk about Hurd. But at the end of the day, we'll only find out who wins those fights when they get in the ring. You know what I mean? But one thing for sure, two things for certain. I'm not buying none of that. Errol Spence and Charles are monsters and they beasts and guys are afraid of them and these guys are doing things in boxing that's never been done before. Fuck out of here, man. People exaggerate. These fanboys out here on YouTube is ridiculous, man. Grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? They be out here arguing. That's why you don't be really see me on that Errol Spence Crawford be debating people. What the fuck I'm gonna debate people for a fight that ain't even close to be made? That shit is draining, man. Then what? I call it a day. I go handle my business. Then another 6 months, the fight still ain't been made. So nah. When the fight happens, it happens. I'm more like talking about breakdowns. You know what I mean? Breakdown and predictions. Who's gonna do what? Who the keys to victory? You know what I mean? You check it, and like I said, if you hear me talking about Spence right now, Charlo, if you just jumped on the live stream, you'd probably think I'm a hater of the guys. No, I'm not a hater. I'm just not with the guy Errol Spence. Look, man, I'm about to make a fire ass video tomorrow morning. Check me out on Monday, man. I'm already putting it out there. Check me out Monday morning. I'm about to put out a video about Errol Spence. All right. Um, where we at? Where we at? Where did I leave off? Mike D says, I want her to stop Charlo. I can't wait. Fight of the year. Yeah, I can't wait for that fight too, man. You know, I think PBC might have one more card, or maybe a couple. I don't know. Before 2018 ends. You already know how PBC and Showtime do. Come January, they're going to give us a slew of fights. You know what I mean? They're going to come out with their schedule that's going to be popping from January basically till May. You know what I'm saying? Till the springtime. And uh, I want to see the man Hurt in the ring, like he been said on various interviews, that he's keeled back from his shoulder. He wants to fight a right-handed fighter after fighting back-to-back southpaws. And these stupid ass Charlo fans, they saying he's ducking because the man wants to get accustomed back to fighting orthodox. The man has fought back-to-back southpaws. Come on, man. Coming off of surgery, you know what I mean? The man got his shoulder corrected. I'd like to see him fight in December, you know what I mean? December sometime. And then by May, we should see that fight with Charlo, you know what I mean? Dr. Dre says, I never seen anyone beat the brakes off Lara like that. Me neither, man. And I'm a fan of Lara. But I said I picked a man Hurt to beat him, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the few. And, you know, I don't ever really pick against Lara. That's my guy, one of my favorites. But Hurd is a problem. I seen it coming. You know what I mean? You got to factor in youth and age. Man, the man Lara is not no spring chicken no more. Look at the man face at the end of that fight. VVS Lou Stone says, I'm still in this price piece. Just got my hands full at the moment. All right. Doc Dre says, I never praised Jamel. He's beatable, very beatable. Very beatable. And his time is coming. I agree 100%, Doc Dre. I mean, how can I be? How could I give the man any kind of praise or anything when the guy's been in the division? Dogs, I've been seeing Jamal and Jamel Charlo on my television screen since about 2010. You check it, we're in 2018. How the fuck the man Hurd gonna come on the scene a year and a half ago, go from prospect to contender to champion to unified in less than a half a year, when all that time in that half a year, this guy Jamel Charlo's been sitting on that WBC belt just fighting mandatories and not really doing nothing, putting in work like the man Jared Hurd is. Not to mention, the man just fought the man's leftover and he couldn't, in Austin Trout, and he couldn't handle his business the way Hurd did. So the writing's on the wall, you know what I'm saying? There's not much to even really talk about the Jamel Charlo kid. I'm more looking forward to Jamal Charlo getting them fights, you know what I mean? And he's another guy who's a good fighter too, but none of these guys are monsters like people claim they are. Stop it. Hurd is a monster more than them. He's stopping world class opponents, you know what I mean? Beating the shit out of Lara. Now a bad man at 154. The best 154 pounder. Hurd ain't just gave him that work. He stopped Austin Trout. Nobody, Canelo couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Charlo couldn't do that. Neither could Jamel. All right. Mike D says, I hear you. Okay, it's time to VVS. Anthony Purvis says, I think people are selling Canelo short, man. And I like his chance against anybody at middleweight. Did you see that Dortico's fight and that Rodriguez strap? Was a treat, man. I'm pleased with the zone so far, period. No, I didn't get to see them two fights, Anthony Purvis. That fight, I didn't get to see that card from Orlando, World Boxing Super Series. I'm gonna probably try to look for it after I do this live stream. You know what I mean? But I agree with you 100%. Canelo got a shot against any of these middleweights. Why wouldn't he? He's the number one middleweight on the planet. Two straps, the lineal champion. So, you know, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Does he beat Jamel Charlo, Andrade, and Jacobs back to back to back? Probably not. Does he lose? Does he lose all them fights back to back to back? Probably not. You know what I mean? That's why these fights need to get made. Doc Dre says Spencer's a very good fighter. Very good fighter, no question about it. I agree 100%. It's a good fighter, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. MB says, real talk, B. Marsh. Never stop doing your own thing. No question, man. No doubt about it. Individuality is what makes this world go around. You know what I mean? You check it, you know. That's why you seen my video a few days ago when I flamed up that kid named Boxing Clinic Goodfella, whatever. You know, you can't be doing what other people do. Individuality is what makes people's the audience, come and listen to people's different YouTube channels. You know what I mean? Now, when a man is biting my ducktail shit and even talking about he got a playlist, then I go on his channel and actually he does have a playlist. I'm gonna flame his ass up, man, because I've been doing that. You know what I mean? I've been doing that. You check it, so that's where it's at. Um, Doc Dre says J Rock was giving Charlo some licks like Rondo. Yeah, man, Rondo street credibility is certified from long time. You know what I mean? Whether it's he's always mentioned in hip hop songs. There was a rapper from Chicago. I think he's doing time now. His name was Rondo Number Nine, and Rondo got that legendary game where he gave Miami Heat that work by himself. We lost the game. I think not by himself. P. Double helped him out. Paul Pierce. But we lost the game in overtime. But Rondo went off, man, for a guy who's known to not be able to shoot, man. The man had like 40 points, mad assists, and he was just unstoppable until today. Whenever I be on the playground, man, you might hear fellas talk about Rondo game 5. I remember forgetting whether it was game 5 or game 6, you know what I mean? So Rondo's street credit certified. Rondo's gonna always be a true Celtic for life, you know what I mean? More than a guy like Ray Allen, that's for sure. Anyways, get back to this boxing shit. Um, Mike D says, me either, B Marsh. Heard the only one breaking necks and cashing checks. No gun bumping, just signing contracts and really fighting top guys. Truth and rights, facts. Look at the Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia fight. Look at all the boxers that were ringside. Spence, Javante Davis, AB, the Charlos, all those guys were together acting a fool. These guys were bent. These guys were drunk out their mind. You know what I'm saying? These guys will all bling the fuck out. And hey, it's all good. Hey, man, you can come out with your shines, you know what I mean? That's all well and fine. I ain't got no problem with fellas rocking their shines. If anybody do, you sound like a hater. Because you might see me one day, man. I'd be draped up in gold, man. You might, hey, if you had a problem with that, that's the tendency of a hater. But my point is, Jared Hurd was not with those guys. He was by himself, or maybe with this few guys from PG County, Maryland, where he from. You know what I'm saying? Um, the guy wasn't draped out and all, looking all gaudy with all them kind of big shines and just, the man was there humble with his little dog chain, you know what I mean? And he and let anybody and let, out of all those champions that was in the building, he has the most hardware. He got two straps, you know what I mean? And he just carrying himself like, yeah, I don't gotta be on the scene like that, like, acting a fool. Like, look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a humble guy for the most part. When we ever seen him wearing them kind of big Cuban link chokers like that? You know what I'm saying? Looking like Nino Brown out this piece, you know what I mean? We ain't never really seen that. And it's all well and fine. He getting money now, you know what I mean? The man made $3 million for the what's the name? Lamar Peterson fight. He getting paid, he getting notoriety. He's on the pound for pound list, Everybody out here gassing him up, talking about he's a beast, which is all well and fine. That's cool. But the company he's keeping might might be a downfall. Fellas like AB, the ringleader of that pack, and he's the oldest out of them. Javante Davis. These guys are a disappointment to boxing. I don't care what nobody say. Doc Dre says, Anthony Parvis says to Doc Dre, facts, man. People forget that part, and I get it because that uppercut was lovely. Yeah, you're right about that. You talking about the J Rock and Charlo fight? Yeah, he was gay. He was, he was. It was a good fight, But the man, J Rock's chin, man, he was get. But then again, Jamal Charlo, I've seen him drop three guys with a jab. That's what he do, and he caught the J Rock kid with the jab. He caught some Haitian kid. He had fought the fight before. He fought Kanan Bundridge to be a world champion. He dropped him with the jab, and he dropped Kanan Bundridge with the jab. So his jab is pretty lethal. You know what I mean? And nobody in boxing dropping fellas with a jab right now. But that uppercut was beautiful, man, and it just separated the man, Jamal J. Rock Williams, from his senses. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, B March Boxing about to seal the deal on this shit, man. Give thanks for everybody coming through. I'm about to go watch ESPN2, watch fantasy football, try to set up my lineups, you know what I mean? Try to get this W this week. You know what I'm saying? Playing that fantasy football. I appreciate everybody coming through. And, my conclusion for this video is Triple G, the boxing gods ain't fucking with you right now, man. You stole a lot of money. You perpetuated a Mexican style that you didn't even bring to the table versus cannoli. You know what I'm saying? You're better off putting on your country, dogs. You was better on putting on this Kazakh style. Kazakh style will beat Mexican style. That would have sold a lot. You know what I mean? Real talk. Say fuck that, man. My Kazakh style will come to LA, come to Las Vegas, and I'll beat Canoli's Mexican style. And at the end of the day, they ran with that Mexican style. I'm sure Abel Sanchez put that rhetoric in his ear, and it backfired. And like I said, the boxing gods, they're not on his side right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, he could go ahead and fight Rob Brant. People gonna say he's ducking Charlo. Yeah, he might get another third fight with Canoli, but at this stage, I got Canoli winning it again. You know what I mean? I do, and he'll get a nice payday, and he might just retire. You know what I mean? Go out in the sunset. But at the end of the day, if we us purists, guys who really do follow the sport of boxing, when we go back and look at his resume, he lost all his big fights, and it's just like Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. Oscar De La Hoya, six a champion in six different divisions, but Oscar De La Hoya really lost all his big fights. He lost to Pernell Whitaker on my card. He lost to Ike Quartet on my card. He lost to Trinidad, although I thought he won that fight. The boxing guys wasn't fucking with him that night. He fought Trinidad, you know what I mean? I thought he won, but he ran. He ran like a bitch, and it cost him, you know what I mean? In the later rounds. You check it. Manny Pacquiao, he wasn't feeling that. Floyd Mayweather, they gave this guy that work, you know what I mean? Look at the guy De La Hoya got a gift decision versus Felix Sturm. You know what I mean? When we really look back at on his resume, you know he's beat guys like Arturo Gotti. Look, he even lost to Mosley twice. You know what I'm saying? Let's really put things in perspective. You know what I mean? And that's how anybody who doesn't really put things in perspective, they're not gonna really realize or notice or mention these transgressions on the man Oscar De La Hoya's resume. You know what I mean? But I do, and Triple G will get the same kind of treatment, just like the man Sven Oki. I was saying like 3 years ago, Triple G's on that Sven Oki route, fighting guys he gonna beat, make a cool 1, 2 million here and there. You know what I'm saying? Not really tested himself, but he gonna chase that cannoli fight. Cause remember, at the end of the day, the man Triple G was always talking about trying to become undisputed. That was his goal. That's why he didn't go up there to fight Ward. You know what I mean? You check it, so you know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. Got a call coming in, probably about to answer this joint. That's how we gonna look at Triple G's career, you know what I'm saying? So yo, B Marsh Boxer, leave your thoughts and comments. And I'm out of here, fellas. Thanks for coming through, everybody. Mike, who came through? Mike D, boxing fan, VVS, Lou Stones. And I appreciate all y'all hitting that thumbs up. MB, Doc Dre, Anthony Purvis. Appreciate all y'all coming through on this live stream. I didn't even think I was gonna go this long on a Rob Brant live stream, but it is what it is. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. Leave that thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and leave some comments if you're listening on the archives. One.